Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm of course Jimmy, and we're proudly sponsored by Action Cuts Sheffield and V&B Auto Centres. Thank you to them for their continued support. We're also sponsored by Posh Milk, so thank you to Paul and the guys at Posh Milk for their support as well. Normally this would be a 90 after 90, but it's a recorded version because, as you can see, we're not in our usual setting. We're away in France for a week, so I'm just going to come on and for the next 10 minutes or so just talk you through what I thought of that game, because I've seen loads of rhetoric online already. We've been travelling all day, so let me paint a picture for you as to how my day's gone. We stayed over in Dover last night, got a ferry first thing this morning over to Calais, as you do. Didn't realise it were over a 5-hour drive to get to where we needed to be for our holiday. So yeah, it's been a long day. I knew that I was going to miss kick-off, so I'm trying to get the game on my phone. Mrs. Ramble's next to me trying to get me a completely legal stream, completely legal and above board stream, so I can watch the game. She didn't know what she was doing with clicking through adverts or anything like this. I'm telling you, you need to click through that and come back to it. And no, it weren't working. We nearly fell out, and we don't fall out. Well, we do, but she seemed to think that getting to our destination was more important than me watching game. Some people's priorities are all wrong, if you ask me. So what happened in the game? We drew 1-1 with Norwich at Carrow Road. I think this is a good point. I think we've got to have some perspective on this. That it's not what we wanted, obviously, but we cannot just assume that we're going to put up a brand new team together and go away from home in Championship and dominate teams. We've been here before. We're now operating as a bigger fish in this Championship pond than we used to be in, really, because we've come down from Premier League. But we've had so many changes. I just think you've got to give them time to gel. I think if you look at some of the players we've got man for man, I won't swap them with many, you know. I think we're in a really good spot. That first 20 minutes against QPR, absolutely out of this world. And obviously we've been disappointing in spells from there and inconsistent, but that's going to happen with a brand new team. You can't expect them to just hit the ground running straight away. There's going to be inconsistencies. I thought it'd be better if I went through man for man how they went today, because I think that will sort of settle some of the uncertainty. This is just my opinion, by the way. So Mike Cooper started off in net today. Debut, first thing he does is pick the ball out the back of the net. But I thought other than that, he was absolutely solid. I thought some dodgy back passes got played to him, which made him look like he wasn't great with his feet, but we know, or we will see, that he's very good with his feet. So I thought it was a solid debut from Michael Cooper. I expect him to just go from strength to strength in our goal, and he's not one that I'd swap for anybody in the league, and you know that to be the case. I thought Alfie Gilchrist had his best game in a Blade shirt so far, even though they've been few and far between. He's not a legit right back, is he? He's a centre half. He's probably a right centre half, you know, where Bash played. He's too small to be a legit centre half as well. So he's been not a traditional right back and not a traditional centre half. He's in a bit of a rock and hard place, but he did everything that were asked of him today. I thought he played really well, no complaints. I missed the first half hour at game because we were trying to get it on, but the 60 minutes that I did see, he played really well, I thought. Noah Nell, because he is ill. Now there's some speculation that he either is or isn't ill. So I'm in the camp that I don't necessarily believe that he's ill, and that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, and I apologise if I'm wrong to the lad, but I don't see it. I think he's had his head turned. I think he's one of the players that, or probably the player that Wilder were talking about in the presser, or alluding to when he were talking about players having their heads turned and not being fully committed. And I've gone on attack there a little bit, and I don't mean to, But I genuinely believe that to be the case. And I may be wrong, and I hope I am, but I think Anel is one that's not in the right headspace because he's got interest in him. And as I say, that's just my opinion. I can't back that up with facts, but Harry Souttar came in. I thought he did a sterling job. No issues at all from Big Harry. Commanded the line well, as we know he can do. Trusty came in for an injured Jack Robinson that I believe to be a legitimate injury. I heard about this earlier in the week. It's not meant to be long term as far as I'm aware, but Trusty coming in and he's been linked away as well. I'm not convinced by Austin Trusty, and I think we're still weak on that left hand side because Harrison Burrows hasn't really found his feet either yet. Certainly in a defensive shape, it's a little bit of a vulnerability for me. I'm sticking with Harrison Burrows. I think he's still going to be a fantastic player for us going forward, but he's got a little bit to learn in terms of his defensive duties. Into midfield, and I thought Vinny didn't have the best of games in my opinion, but he didn't do an awful lot wrong. It's not one to dig him out on at all. I thought Ollie Arblaster wore the captain's armband well, as he does. I think he's a dictator in there, isn't he? In terms of he dictates the pace of the game. I'm just really pleased with how he's come on, and if Sidney Peck can get anywhere near his development, we're on to a huge winner with that. Obviously got the equaliser with a fantastic left foot, pure strike, and he's just a touch of class. He's an absolute touch of class and don't look out of place at 20-year-old with armband on, does he? Andre Brooks is something I'm delighted about. The development of Andre Brooks with the pressure of having Raksaki behind him is flourishing. He's absolutely flourishing. And this is what it's about. This is what having squad depth and competition does to players. It's forcing Andre Brooks knows as soon as his levels drop, he's out of the team and he'll struggle to get back in if Raksaki's as good as everybody makes him out to be. So fair play to Andre Brooks keeping the shirt. I think Raksaki starts in the cup on Tuesday because it's an opportunity to change things around. But Raksaki now has to impress to get anywhere near pushing Andre Brooks out of the team back in the league. So really, really strong that. Callum O'Hare, just a nuisance, isn't it? Works hard off the ball, doesn't always come off for him, but we get in there, we gel in. I like him in the 10. I think he's a constant threat, and yeah, I wouldn't take him out of the team for anything that he's done today. I've heard a few little whispers online about it, but he's a solid player at championship level, and as I say, it's so fresh still, so new. Gus Hamer. Now, to say Gus Hamer's a problem is the wrong terminology because he's not a problem. He's a brilliant player, and we all know how brilliant he can be, and he's a game changer. He's scored and assisted last game and just really, really talented. I think we can all acknowledge we're probably not getting the best out of him on the left-hand side. But where do you play Gus Hamer? Where do you play? I think he's best in a 10. So do you consider swapping O'Hare and Gus and seeing what O'Hare's like coming in off the left and trying to get the best out of Gus in the 10? Or do we think that Gus is a better player, so he adapts to that left-hand side a little bit better? I'm not sure, to be honest, but it's a headache that Wilder could do with figuring out. I mean, he may well persist with what we're doing and it may start to gel as it is, but I've heard a lot of people saying it doesn't work in the new formation. It's too early. It's too early to say it doesn't work. Kiefer Moore getting some stick up front as the lone striker, that is one of the most difficult jobs you can have. You can't... Do you have a go at the lad for not scoring every game or not making a huge difference every game when he's still giving defenders absolute nightmares, still pressing from the front, doing exactly what you need him to do? Do you put somebody alongside him like a Campbell and go with two up top, but then you're going to have to drop one from the midfield, which is probably going to be one of your three behind? So does O'Hare, Hamer or Brooks come out of the side? Really tough calls to make, but I think Kiefer Moore's also getting a bit of a unfair bit of criticism recently. What you have to remember is, and this is what I try and remember as well, and you can think your opinions are your own and you're entitled to them, so I'm not trying to change anybody's mind here, but from my perspective, we have gone to Preston and turned them over quite easily. And I know they've been poor, but Ecky's got him a decent result today. Fair play to Ecky and best of luck to him. But Preston away, 3 points. It doesn't show on the board because we were -2, so it's equivalent to a draw. But we've won 3 points at Preston. We've dropped 2 at home to QPR. and that was us taking our foot off the gas, thinking job we're done, allowing them back into the game, and they've done really well to then take the impetus and go on and get the point that they deserved, to be fair. And then today at Norwich, a point at Norwich is a good point. So in the grand scheme of things, we've probably taken it, looking at it as it is. I don't think this is a huge misstep or anything like that. I think it's frustrating, and I think the performance had holes in it that we can work on, the cohesion between the team and building the character amongst the team and making sure that they're resilient and able to go again. But there's enough in this team to worry anybody in this league, and I'm more confident than I've been that we will be up there pushing come the end. So don't let today's result get you too down, because it's a point on the road. Third league game in with a brand new team that has not lost yet. So let's have a bit of perspective. We get in there bit by bit. So let me know what you think. Do you think there's a better place to play Gus Hamer? Do you think Anel is wanting a move, or do you think I'm being harsh on Anel by sort of calling him out, thinking his head's not in the right space? If Anel does go, how much do you take for Anel? Because I think around 12 million quid with possibly add-ons and a sell-on would be best we can hope for. He's got 2 years left on his contract. You've got to think he's not willing, this is an assumption, not going to be signing a new one, so his value will depreciate from here. So what do you take? Kiefer Moore, what's your thoughts on him? Does he need a partner up top with him, or do we stick with him? Do we think he's doing a decent job? I think he's doing a decent enough job. I'm not saying he don't need to up his levels in any sort of element of his performance, but I think it's harsh to start criticising players this early. So let me know what you think. Thank you for sticking with us, and I will be back with the warm-up for the Barnsley game for Tuesday, isn't it? So I'll be back either tomorrow or Monday, something like that. I'll be back pretty soon. So till then, come on, you red and white wizards. Up, Ramble!